Up and down and up and down and up and down. All right, Porsche Cup is headed to Road America, and we've done a guide for that recently. Not last season, but the one before. I'll have that linked up here. The car has not changed a ton since then, so that guide should still be good. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit today. We're going to throw up a race from 2 years ago where I first did this combination. I think this was the first week that I did this combination, but I was very proud of this race. So yeah, we're going to show that footage while I talk a little bit about plateaus and what have you. So I do feel like I've hit a bit of a plateau again. The rating has been dropping a little bit since the beginning of the season, or the end of the last one, really. I'm trying to analyze why this is happening, but it's a combination of quite a few factors, I think. One, I think a lot of the races that I did last season were in the early parts of the week, and then on Saturdays I would do the Nürburgring Endurance Championship, which kind of has a different set of skills to do well. I kind of did all right in those for the most part, not all the time, but most of the time I would do okay by just surviving long enough and not crashing. My raw pace at the Nürburgring in this car is not great, but like I said, by just surviving I would do okay. And I wasn't doing the regular Porsche Cup races on the weekends, where I have been doing those now. And with more people being there on the weekends, the competition is a little bit tougher. So I think the races that I've been doing this season at the beginning of the week have gone pretty well for me because it's fewer people. Whereas we get to the weekend, there's a lot more people, so there's a lot more skilled people, and yeah, it's just a bit tougher. So we'll gain a little bit back at the beginning of the week and then lose a little bit more on the weekend. And that has caused the number to slowly drop, which is fine. It is what it is. I've done a video before about how I feel about iRating, and I've also done one about plateaus and what have you. I'll have that one linked up in the corner here, if I can hopefully remember to timestamp this or whatever, so I can remember where in the video to put that link. Anyhow, this race that we're looking at right now was one of the first times where I really felt stuff was starting to click. I can't remember where I ended up placing in the race, but this battle here at the beginning, I was pretty proud of myself for getting through that the way that I did. And I think currently part of what I need to do is get back to a place where I just sit and enjoy the battles that I'm having, rather than worrying too much about where we'll end up placing overall in the race. Enjoy the journey for the journey's sake, as it were. iRacing is one of those things where the better you get at it, the tougher it becomes. And I wonder, I think maybe that every skill is kind of like that, and I just haven't been putting enough time into other skills in recent memory that I've hit these kinds of plateaus often. And maybe I've hammered on this point before. I'm not sure how recently in one of these videos we've talked about this, but it's just kind of the way things work. You get to a certain point and you'll start you're in one of the lower splits and you're struggling there, and you get a little bit better, and then you start doing well in those lower splits, and then you get to a certain point and you bump up a split. It's like, holy moly, these people are really good. And you start at the back again, and then you'll drop down a split as you don't do well in those upper splits, and you're back to where, oh man, I feel like a speed demon. I'm just tearing the place up, I'm doing awesome, and then you'll get bumped back up. And then again, you'll see the faster guys and drop back down, and you're kind of in this in between limbo-y area where you'll do really well depending on where, or really poorly depending on where the split happens. Then you start to get a little bit better. At that point, you stop dropping down to those lower splits, and it depends on the series too and how many splits there are. But you kind of end up in the middle ground, and you're fighting your way, try and get towards the front of these races, and it takes a big jump to get a little bit further up, and with any kind of consistency. Anyway, and the more this happens, the higher the skill level of all the people that you're competing against. So, like I said, the better you get, the harder it is, because the people that you're competing against are that much better. When I started out in the early seasons of doing iRacing, I was doing TCRs, which didn't split all that often. So we were in the races with the top split fastest guys, with these mega splits that ranged, from 6,000 iRating down to 600, right? And the way that I looked at it then was, and I still do for the most part, I don't really think about it too much anymore, I don't think. Might as well be having the fastest guys in there. It gives you something to shoot for. Makes you push harder. Thinking about it now, because we still end up in these splits where the fastest guys are, right? I'm not competing with them. I just, those guys show up and they're, 2 seconds faster than me a lap. I don't really even think that much about them being there, because they're off doing their own thing up front. Maybe there's an off chance one of them will make a huge mistake and take themselves out, but that's not something that happens often. We don't really count on that. So we just kind of let them go off and do their thing and try and do the best that we can. And we try and make that best go up, raise the ceiling of what we can do, while hopefully raising the floor at the same time. And the goal here is to just marginally move that up little by little without it sliding down much. And if that floor and ceiling hopefully get a little bit closer together along the process too, but if they keep moving up, eventually we'll get to the top of the staircase, right? Hopefully that analogy is not too mixed, but that's the goal. And it's going that direction, very slowly. It's always tempting to think about what we can do to accelerate this process, though. And I know the things that I could do, that I'm contemplating doing. They all require time, though, which is a very precious resource. There are books and courses to take. I've got one. Going Faster by Carl Lopez and Danny Sullivan. I've got that sitting by my chair in my living room. I have not read too much of it yet. That's the problem. Just having the book doesn't instill itself the knowledge into you. You actually have to read it and practice for those things to rub off in any significant fashion. Could also go out and get more coaching, which I have very seriously considered. One of these seasons, I'm going to probably take a time off of doing too many videos and guides and stuff, and focus on that. Not quite sure when. I think too, maybe switching to a different car for a little while might shake things up a bit in the old noggin, and make some new adjustments to the old driving style happen. We did the 2 seasons there in between Porsche Cup seasons. We did the IMSA season, then the Formula Ford season, and I wonder if that helped out. Coming back to the Porsche Cup after those 2 seasons, we did not move a ton, but then the season after that was a huge jump. So Again, I don't know if that anomalous season was because of NEC, but with the NEC coming up again, we'll see what kind of a difference that season makes. I worry that I'm coming off sounding a little bit dour. It's not meant to be that way. It's just the thoughts that are going through my head as I prepare for this week of Road America as we come up. I'm looking forward to it. It's a fun track, and I think we can have some good luck here. But those are, I guess, my thoughts going into the week. These weeks where I'm not posting a guide, I'm a little torn on whether or not to be publishing videos where I just kind of ramble for a little bit. Let me know if you enjoy these kinds of videos, or if there's something that you would like me to do in its place. We're kind of back to the older style of Project Git Gud videos on these weeks, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not trying to be too dour. I'm just trying to be a little introspective and figure out what to do with these videos on these days. It'll shake out. It's just a little shaky right now. But yeah, if you like the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, I totally understand. And if you think I earned a subscription, hit the button. I appreciate it. And if you want to watch along live when we do some of these races, head on over to twitch.tv/thepiltdownman. I'll have a link to the video, in right here ish, the race that you were just watching, and up here will be the track guide from the couple seasons ago. Anyhow, we'll see you next time. Bye.